served together, Iraq, Afghanistan, pretty much been well connected ever since, really. We've always, for some reason, just kept in touch. And it's been extremely good for me.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like, and that's kind of how, now we're going to get into the kind of origin of Operation Antifragile and how this just kind of manifested as it wasn't ever like really an idea to like, let's start a nonprofit and do all this. It was basically just brothers helping each other out.
Yeah.
You've helped me a lot throughout the years, and on Memorial Day, and that would have been 2024, right? Yeah. Sergeant Major Ruiz came out with a message. My former first sergeant. In many ways, your former first sergeant as well.
Yeah. I mean, I was there with Lima a lot, so I mean,
just like First Sergeant De Leon, we're all there together. He came out with a message announcing the new big ship was going to be the USS Helmand. In memory of the Marines that fought there, Marines that died there. And he essentially kind of mentioned when Stanley was killed, and just hearing his voice again. I know, at least for me, I'm sure for you too, it was good to hear his voice again. But it unearthed a lot of memories.
Feelings, emotions, which I'm sure he had a lot going on too.
Exactly.
And obviously he did well, kept keeping his bearing. But at the same time, that affected him just as much.
So. Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I do wonder. I wonder about him. So hopefully I'll get to talk to him again sometime soon.
Maybe one day.
Good to hear his voice.
He might come out and say, "Roger's a disgusting fat body."
Yeah, he thinks I look like a booger and has a melt with all my long hair nastiness. But man, I have an insane amount of respect for both of those. So the message came out, and Memorial Day itself is just very difficult, especially
just with the meaning of the day and what the purpose of the day is, and a lot of people don't realize the true meaning.
Everyone else is in kind of vacation mode.
They're like,
And then it used to happen all the time with fire department guys would have a lot of plans and stuff. And then it'd be like, it would always come as a surprise to me, like, oh yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend. And it's like, it's just,
in one way, celebrate the lives that
yes,
they weren't.
I am not the sort that wants to be all. I do think that you should have your moment of reflection. But then
reflection,
just
grief, and then just remember, hey, the ultimate sacrifice that these men and women that have died for our country lived the life that they couldn't live.
Yes.
Be an honor to them and to their families, because Wendy Stanley ain't gonna get to see Cody again. It just, it comes back to those guys and just doing the things the right way, and and benefiting. I wouldn't say benefiting, but more so of like I said, just doing the things that they can no longer do. And being present in the moment and just living that life.
I visualize them, being here with us, watching over us, and I'm like, I know that Cody wouldn't want us to just be miserable,
wallow in our sorrows, and woe is me, and everything. And trust me, I've been there. I've been the woe is me guy. I've been the how to live with it and you grieve properly, then you can move on from it, you know.
And so this kind of gets into the next bit about operator syndrome and how reason why, like, you know, Memorial Day can be difficult now. More people are starting to learn about what operator syndrome is. I discovered it reading the book Operator Syndrome, and it makes sense. You know, we have these traumas that happen to us, and it stays with us. And there are sounds, smells, touch, memories, all these things bring up not just emotions, but manifest in the body. My nerve injury is an example. You have a similar thing as well.
Yeah.
You know, just talking about this stuff, I get shocks of nerve pain. I feel my trigger finger doing its little zappy thing. Sometimes it twitches. It's strange how it stays in the body, and so it's these things that you have these silent pains that no one really knows about, and you try to carry on, and you might think it's something else, and then it just seems like one of those things that you just kind of assume will never get better, which is some of the other guys I've talked to and have been working with. You know, we all kind of accept that this chronic pain, all these issues are just kind of the way it is. But there's methods out there to make it better, and to help. And that's where it's not just PTSD, it's not just mental health. You know, you can do all the mental health stuff in the world, but if you don't address the brain injuries, you don't really get to the root cause of the problem, which a lot of it, as you've learned now and I've explained for a while about nervous system regulation.
Yeah.
That's so much of it. Our nervous systems are damaged. And I was explaining to you with all the chronic blast exposure, you know, not just in Afghanistan, you know, there was obviously a lot of blasts and everything there, but training. Our training as an infantry Marine unit is very intense, and it doesn't, I don't want it all, you know, with this knowledge that we have, you still need to have training. You still got to do this stuff.
Well, I mean, it comes back to the old saying, hey, train like you fight.
Yes.
You know, and I don't think, had we not trained the way we did, I don't think we would have been as successful as we were.
Yeah.
Just, you know, not saying that minimal casualties in a KIA is a success, but, you know, compared to what it could have been, it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had good senior leadership, you know, good guys that, you know, knew what they were doing, and, you know, Sergeant Jansen, I give major props. He's Chief Warrant Officer now, somewhere in the Marine Corps. Awesome dude, you know. I want to say Lieutenant Brock, who is now, pretty sure he was either a major or lieutenant colonel when he got out. Great. I mean, that was his very first deployment. He was a butter bar and got put in the weapons company, and that was a heck of a. So most of your, you know, if you know the Marine Corps, a lot of your butter bars will go to line companies. Well, he came to weapons company, and I think, you know, he had good people around him. Gunny Mac, great leader. Gunny Foster, great leader. Sergeant Jansen, great leader. You know, those guys helped him to understand the way weapons company does things, which is a little bit different than your normal lineman team, you know, because when you go to the IOC, you know, or OIC, I should say, is that right? OIC?
OCS. Officer Candidate School.
No.
Oh, the officer, infantry one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is that. I don't know. That's standard cool.
Infantry officers course.
Yeah.
IOC.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways, yeah. It's been so long since we talked about stuff like this.
Yeah.
of line company training, you know, not a whole lot of, you know, mobile unit training. So for them to take a role and help out Lieutenant Brock for his first deployment was pretty good. You know, and again, you know, Major Brock or Lieutenant Colonel Brock was, you know, a bad dude. I mean, he did his stuff. He was good. Knew what leadership was, and still talk to him to this day. I mean, great dude.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and it's important to stay connected.
Yes.
And that's a whole other reason why, you know, I think that's part of why I've been able to, you know, I think on the outside, a lot of people think I'm doing really well, but I've certainly had a lot of struggles.
Yeah.
I still struggle. And that's...
Same here, man. You know, I mean, a lot of the trauma reappears in the most insignificant times, too.
Well, and that's like, so, the Memorial Day stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that made it where, like, and then, I was working as a firefighter then, too, dealing with my own set of trauma. You were just, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, your nerve injury stuff had just kind of started and you didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so.
Like, I really thought it was my shoulder and it wasn't. It was all my nerve and my
I thought my shoulder had dislocated or something. So I had to hold my arm up and like my muscles were spasming like crazy and it just felt like my shoulder's out of place, but it all stemmed from this. And yeah, for me, obviously it was a little bit.
Anything overhead and tricep oriented. And I just couldn't.
Some of it's physical, some of it's, you know, part of just the Marine Corps, wear and tear, some of it's genetic, but then I've discovered now, just with myself, some of it's mental.
Yes.
The body keeps a score, and it truly does. So when you're struggling, you know, I've gotten through that with sled training, the mace stuff, other resources, coaching, so I kind of knew what worked. Sent you the sled, sent you the mace.
And I actually did a lot of sled work last summer.
Yeah.
You sent that to me. So I was very grateful for that. And, you know, and in my profession now that, you know, I'm a football coach, so, you know, when season picks up, I have less time with the sled.
What did the care package like do for you? You know, getting that sled, getting the mace.
It was like actually it was really a huge relief because, you know, a lot of us don't make that kind of money to get stuff like that, and to have an asset like that to help with your mental health and to help with your physical training is pretty awesome.
Now imagine if you'd had this
like,
stuff
it's
when
like
you first
Christmas.
got out.
Yeah.
Or
If I would have got this when I first got out, I'd probably be a little bit better off. Mentally, physically, all these things.
Well, so I was talking earlier about how, you know, we need people to fight wars. We gotta train, we gotta use explosions, you gotta do this stuff. Otherwise, when it happens in real life, you're not gonna do very well.
Not gonna
react. And now that's why I'm trying to put this stuff out there and be proactive, educate others, and then maybe, you know what, hey, after we've done some intense training, make sure you get, or some blast exposure stuff. Okay, go get some red light therapy, maybe TMS, take some exogenous ketones, make sure you're eating the right foods, getting the good amount of sleep, taking creatine. You know, we know these things now, or some people do, to where we could be helping out these tactical professionals to where after they've trained, they're not going to be as bad off.
Right.
So that's kind of a lot of why I'm trying to do this now, and what I'm trying to do is get ahead of the problem so that when these things happen, because they're still going to happen, you know, like you're still going to have setbacks, I'm still going to have setbacks, but now you have a set of tools, not just physical tools with the sled and the mace, but
or meds being thrown at you,
or that's exactly, and that's a lot of my story. The VA tried to put me, or they did put me on a lot of psych meds, and it nearly ended my life.
Yeah.
Whether it was going to kill me or I was going to end up in an insane asylum or both, and that's what happens to so many veterans, especially because a lot of the traumatic brain injuries are not being diagnosed properly. So I was telling you, you can miss brain injury stuff with CT scans and MRIs. You need like a functional MRI because it would show where the brain is lighting up when it should, when you're moving. So imaging alone doesn't show this stuff, and especially because with blast exposure, it's wearing out that myelin sheath. So you just don't have the connections as well. And that's why a lot of guys around our age right now, from what I think I know and understand, are start beginning to have issues because it's right around this time it starts to manifest more. So there's a big need for this stuff, and so with that, we're doing a lot of coaching. Kind of do what I could, working remotely. Eventually got to where it worked out to where I could come out to you, do some more in-person coaching.
Yeah.
Wish it could have been longer and more in-depth.
Well, due to my schedule and everything that I have, I mean, you made it to where you were like, hey, why don't I just come to you instead of you come to me?
Yeah.
So for that, in general, you don't get that often.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a lot of the upside with Operation Antifragile. People needing help with the mace, people needing help with their power lifts, or
just knowing what to do.
Knowing what to do. This weekend's been awesome. One, I got to catch up with you over 16 years.
That was
two,
the best part.
Yeah, and two, we got to basically talk back and forth about strength training, and like you knew a lot more mace stuff than I did because I'm just kind of a newbie in the mace. Like powerlifting and stuff, I've always been around, so I have an idea. But it's still nice to have somebody there. Hey.
Oh, I always
try
had a
this,
coach. I was a coach way more often. Yeah.
So, but no, it definitely. I think that brings a new aspect to your program, your training, everything. So, if somebody's legitimately needing the help to solidify, whether it's breath work or training in the mace or the sled work or anything else, I think you allowing yourself to pick up and go and say, hey, I will meet you there is a great asset to your company.
That's kind of been my concept, kind of what I've been wanting to gain, and not just me. I want to, get more coaches, get more education, get to where, because there's a huge need for this.
Yeah.
And it's more than just. Again, I want to get into more of just strength training stuff. There's the educational side of things, not just on like what to do for strength training, because that's the other thing too. What happened to a lot of people where they have these injuries and they try to go back to more dog parts. They try to go back to what they're doing, and you can't do the same thing anymore. And then that doesn't just hurt you physically; it hurts you mentally.
Yeah.
And then it's like I can't do this stuff, and it's like, look, there's some other methods that you can do, and then you can come back stronger than you thought before. Just kind of like. I'm not my bench isn't as strong, but I've gotten stronger on my lifts than just about all the other ones because I've built up all these supportive muscles and I've adapted.
Well, I think with you bringing in the mace was, a new avenue of approach for me as far as getting my strength back where I had it.
Right.
So, that's the plus side to the mace. And, the sled work, again, even if you're in pain or whatever, it kind of correlates and helps with all that other stuff.
So there's the strength training side, and then we've been at the manual here talking about just like nervous system regulation, nutrition, how important that gut health is. I hope that has also helped you.
Yeah, just a little bit of enlightenment on gut health and being able to be mindful in what you're putting in your body, as far as food wise and meats and veggies, and which we all know are great for you, but we don't really put it in perspective. Obviously, I like meat, I like to eat, I like my bread, I like all these things, but it's a little more enlightenment as far as
keeping my brain healthy,
keeping my brain healthy, keeping it, good and great and focused. Dude, come on, man. Yeah.
Alright. Chill, bro. Yeah.
But no, like, I think, just getting the brain fog out too, I mean, that's part of your gut health.
Well, and that's where also I want to get into the nervous system regulation.
Yeah.
So like, I brought the PEMF, red light, how did that stuff make you feel?
That's pretty soothing. I really like it, and the PEMF was new to me. It's kind of like getting stim, but it's not stim.
Yeah.
And you can feel where it's repairing or trying to repair that nerve or trying to.
Yeah, that's what's cool about it. Like, you feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. It runs that nerve pathway.
Yeah.
It's activating the Schwann cells, helping you regenerate, and
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's amazing. And then, and again, it's something where you get to the root cause of things, and then you don't need to take all these pain pills.
Yeah.
You don't need to take these other meds. You don't realize how much just pain messes up like your mental health as well.
Yeah.
And your nervous system. So then you're having all these other issues.
Yeah.
And that's why you get to that root cause. A lot of times it's that vagus nerve not functioning properly, and things just start to get better. You feel a little bit lighter. So like we did breath work.
Yeah.
Very intense breath work session for you last night.
I was exhausted.
Yeah, we ended up doing 60 minutes, about 60 minutes.
Yeah.
20 rounds basically. It was dynamic breath work. And you have, as you discovered, it's work.
Oh, 100%. It's work, but it's only going to be as good as what you put into it.
Yeah.
And, it actually helped me to relax at the end of it and to actually feel things. Because, like, the feeling is not a thing, especially in men and
we're taught to, hide your emotions.
yes.
That's what makes it so hard.
So, at the end of it all, you have this release of, okay, this is what I've been holding in all along. This is all my crap that I try and just block out,
Yeah.
So, that dynamic breath work was something I really needed. Because I was just really